Coming of Age is coming up next. I'm your host, Josh Newby. The holidays are here, and we want to make sure you enjoy them to their fullest. You can set new goals, stay safe, and maybe even give back in some way. We've got your roadmap right here, whether you're an elder adult or the caregiver for one. Stay tuned. Coming of Age starts right now.
As we age, staying active in life and involved in the community can become a challenge. But with Council on Aging of West Florida's range of home-based services, you remain healthy, independent, and engaged. From Meals on Wheels and respite care to senior dining sites and the retreat, you'll feel empowered to regain your freedom while retaining what makes you, you. We've been in the community for nearly 50 years, advocating for elders and supporting those who care for our parents and grandparents. We were there when your father's health began declining, when your mother needed companionship during the day. And guess what? We'll be there down the road when you need those services too. Now, join with us as we talk together about the aging issues that matter to you.
It's that time of year again. Time to assess your health and lifestyle and set your goals for a new and better you. You pledge to lose 20 pounds, exercise an hour every day, eat fewer sweets and more veggies, stop smoking, floss daily, meditate, try yoga, the list goes on and on. Every January, we vow to make any and all adjustments in our daily routine that will lead to a lean, fit, strong body and a longer, higher quality of life. But often our New Year's resolutions don't last beyond Valentine's Day because the goals we set for ourselves are not realistic. Today we welcome Jessica Gilkey, a registered dietitian with Baptist Healthcare, who will give us some tips for setting goals we can achieve. Jessica, thank you so much for coming on today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
To get started, share a little bit about your background.
Sure. So I have kind of a diverse background. So I started my healthcare career in the Air Force. I did healthcare management, and I was stationed up in Anchorage, Alaska.
Okay.
And so I did healthcare management for surgery and urology clinics. I did some staff relief during a deployment for the OR scheduling. And then my last assignment was working for an outpatient nutrition clinic. Okay. And that's really where I fell in love with nutrition and solidified my education goals once I got out of the military. So once I separated, I finished my education, or my undergrad rather, in St. Louis, Missouri. And I used my post 9/11 GI Bill to do that.
Gotcha.
And then I was accepted to an internship in North Carolina, which was a distance program. So I did my rotations here in the local area.
Yeah.
And then once I finished that up and I became licensed, I accepted a position at Baptist Healthcare where I became a health coach. And so that kind of looks like creating educational material for the public, doing community outreach. I also do some nutritional outpatient counseling. Okay. I really, really love what I do. It's exactly what I saw myself doing when I was going through school, and I'm just really happy to be doing it for Baptist.
Yeah, well, good for you.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Thank you.
So I know one of the top resolutions people make this time of year is to get healthier, right? To take a critical look at their bodies and at their habits. What do you find are some of the most prevalent health concerns for those over 55?
Sure. So the major one that I typically see, of course, is weight loss. I also see blood sugar management, that people want to get their blood sugars under control, right. Digestive balance, and energy levels. Okay. Those are the top 4 things that I see with that population.
And, we set resolutions, and like I said in the intro, we stick with them for 30 or 45 days if we're lucky, and then life sort of gets in the way. Why do you see so many of these resolutions, so many of these goals fall by the wayside?
Sure. So I see a lot of them fall by the wayside because they're really unrealistic for where people are at in the season of their life. For instance, I just had a baby, so it's not realistic for me in this season of my life to be hitting the gym 5 days a week for an hour to an hour and a half. So I tell people to take a look at their life and where are they at in their season. Maybe they started a new job. Maybe they retired. Maybe they're now taking care of grandchildren. So what does your life look like right now, and what's realistic in the here and now to make it move forward a little more fluidly?
Sure. And so how do you know if a health goal is attainable? Because I hear you in terms of looking at, where you are in this season of life. But, let's say someone who has never exercised, says they want to lose 20 pounds in 2 months. That's obviously not realistic. How do you know if that health goal is attainable?
Yeah, so I usually ask people, have you set this goal before? Have you met it? If you have in the past, what did that look like? What did your life look like? What were steps you took to move that in the right direction? And if you haven't, let's take a bigger step back and see where your life is right now, and let's take some small steps to move it in the right direction.
So if someone is setting a new resolution, setting a new goal, not necessarily this time of year, but any time of year, what advice do you give them for attaining that goal? And when the inevitable challenges arise, how do you tell them to overcome those?
Yeah, so the gold standard for setting goals is going to be make it SMART. So make it specific, make it measurable, make it attainable, realistic, and make it, in a realistic time frame as well. So we try to use that as the gold standard whenever we're setting goals. So if your goal is to lose weight, let's be specific about that. How much weight do you want to lose? How are we going to measure that? Are you going to come in for follow-up appointments? Are we going to communicate on the phone, via email? What is the time frame? How much time do you want to give yourself to reach that? So getting a little bit more smart about it can make it a little bit more attainable.
And I think it's so important to not be overly critical of yourself when you fail, because you're going to inevitably fail. You're going to have a hard day at work or something like that. But especially with diet and exercise, if you beat yourself up, that's just going to make you want to eat more.
Absolutely. So we want to be smart with our goals, and we want to follow those guidelines. But I always tell people, take perfection off of the table.
Right.
Because life is about ups and downs, and it's about challenges, and it's never going to be perfect. So when I tell people that, a lot of times the stress goes down, and we can work on some more realistic goal setting for them.
It's progress, not perfection.
Absolutely.
That's the goal.
Absolutely.
What are some resources people can use to help achieve those?
Yeah, so the number one app that I like to use or recommend to people is going to be MyFitnessPal.
Sure.
It's the top rated in the country. That one, you can set goals for yourself. You can put your age and gender, weight loss, weight gain in there. It can set some calories for you and let you track your food intake. Not that I'm all about calories in versus calories out. I like to look at quality of food and bigger picture items. However, that's something that can keep you accountable at home, and then you can take into your healthcare team, and you guys can take a deeper look at what's going on.
So let's say someone's watching this, and maybe they set resolutions years ago in their younger days, but they're older now, right? They're trying to enjoy life more, not take their time for granted. What realistic health and wellness goals do you suggest for them?
Sure. So I call those non-scale victories. So a lot of times we have to move away from the number on the scale or the pant size or the dress size, and we need to look at the bigger picture. Do you want to have more energy? Do you want to sleep better?
Sure.
Do you want to manage your stress better, or just your time in the day? So we will take a bigger look at that and kind of, again, move away from the numbers, and then we can start setting goals around those things.
I think that's such a smart way to do it is, because a resolution of, I'm going to eat less fast food, or I'm going to have a caloric deficit every week, that's just so hard and so uninspiring. But telling someone you're going to have more energy to play with your grandkids, you're going to have, the motivation to learn a new language or travel, that's so much. Who doesn't want to travel, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And when we take a look at some of those deeper things to the why behind your goals, a lot of times those other things will fall into place. I'll see the number on the scale just automatically kind of come down into the right range it needs to be in. Blood pressure, it may start to fall into a better range, and some other health goals may start to line up for them.
And that puts you in a better mental space too. And at that point, your goals just sort of start to snowball, right? Talk about the mental benefits of that.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's usually a mental game, right? Because we can psych ourselves in or out of any goal setting or any resolution. So you just want to make sure you're in the right headspace. You have the right support team around you that you can talk through your goals with, and they can take an objective look at it for you.
Definitely. Well, very timely advice. Thank you for coming on, Jessica.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks so much.
The holidays are here. How to keep your days merry, bright, and free from porch pirates. Next.
Why do people love ACT's retirement life communities? There are more reasons than just the active lifestyle. Like ACT's Life Care, a plan that protects your nest egg with predictable monthly fees, even if your healthcare needs increase, so you can enjoy a carefree today and a worry-free tomorrow. Plan a visit and see why our satisfaction rating with current residents stands at 98%. ACT's Retirement Life Communities, where loving kindness lives.
What does it look like when a life is truly changed? I feel a sense of accomplishment because I built a house. This house has brought us financial independence.
It's a great place to raise a family.
Strength, fuerza. When I look back where we've come from to where we are today, it makes my heart very happy.
Potential.
Potencia.
For me, this house means all of us together.
So,
Security.
Security.
Every family dreams to have their own house. This house changed our lives.
Habitat for Humanity is at work in your community and around the world. Through shelter, we empower.
The holidays are full of merriment, cheer, and special presents. But if you're not careful, those gifts you have planned for others can fall into the wrong hands. Thankfully, there are ways to keep ourselves and our possessions safe this holiday season. Joining us now with some tangible tips is Mike Wood. He's the Public Information Officer for the Pensacola Police Department. Mike, thank you so much for coming on today.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Absolutely. So the holidays are a happy time, but it also can present some unique dangers that we might not find throughout other parts of the year. What are some dangerous situations that elder adults should be wary of?
Well, first of all, if they are shopping at the brick and mortar stores, now we have to separate that. There's so much online shopping now. We have to separate those now. But to do that in the daytime, try to do that in the daytime, and there's always safety in numbers. If you can go with a friend, a family member, or some other relative, try to do that.
Okay. And like you were saying, there's a lot of online shopping now. I think the majority of shopping is actually going to be done online this year, and those shipments are going to be rolling into our houses over the next couple weeks. How do we avoid porch pirates?
Yeah, that's one thing we've already seen this year, and that tends to spike nationwide between Thanksgiving and Christmas Day.
Okay.
So what we like folks to do is when you order those packages, have them delivered either to a neighbor's house if you're not going to be home, maybe where you work, or get with your driver from UPS, DHL, FedEx, whoever that might be, and make arrangement to where they might put it at a back door, maybe behind some furniture, someplace where it's not seen from the street.
Okay. And if an item is stolen, I understand that like having cameras and those types of instruments help in the investigation, is that right?
Yes, two things about that. The cameras are great. The cameras have gone down in price so much over the last few years that they're very inexpensive now, and the storage is off-site, so if they were to get into your house, there's nothing to steal to get rid of the video. So we need those cameras to help prosecute the case. They are very valuable, but also we need the person to report that. We have a lot of these things not reported. People feel either silly or that it doesn't matter to us that much. Every theft matters to us. We need to establish what neighborhoods we're having these problems in, and if you don't call the police, no matter how minute that it might be a roll of tape that came from Amazon, but we need to know that it was taken.
Excellent. Elder adults, they might be out later than they're used to, attending holiday parties, visiting relatives. Obviously, drunk driving is always a concern as the night goes on, but what are some other driving conditions that elders need to be aware of? And how do they avoid those drunk drivers? How do they stay safe when the roads are more dangerous?
Well, avoiding them it can be a problem. We're out there, it's easier now for us to make those arrests than ever before simply because of cell phones. Everybody has a cell phone. Now we have eyes out there everywhere that are helping us detect these impaired drivers. Years ago, you would have to get a police car would have to get behind you in order to get caught for DUI, or you would have to cause a crash. Now we have cell phones everywhere, eyes everywhere, and we get those calls. The best way to avoid that, if you're not drinking and driving, the best way to avoid getting in an accident with a suspected impaired driver is to get off the road early.
Okay.
Most of these drivers tend to be out in the later hours, so if you can get home, between the hours of 7 and 9 p.m., that would help a lot.
Okay. Now, tell me about the Take Me Home program. This is a really cool program you guys offer.
Yeah, it was invented, if you will, by Lieutenant Jimmy Donahoe here at the Pensacola Police Department. It has now gone nationwide. It's a free program to police departments all over the country where family members, if they have a senior or anyone who may want wander away from the home and maybe not be able to identify themselves or tell law enforcement where they belong, you can sign them up for this program. Again, it's free.
Okay.
We take their photograph, we get their the demographics, all the information that we need, and it's put into a database. And if the officer finds this person wandering around, he can look at them, put in how tall they are, what they weigh, and other things, and then pictures will pop up that match that. And as soon as we see that person, we're able to put them in the car or call a relative and get them back home.
So, and that program is shared nationwide? Is
Yeah,
that right?
it is.
That's
it
excellent.
is.
Awesome. I know a lot of gifts are purchased secondhand too, whether it's eBay, but especially Craigslist, where you might be actually having that interpersonal interaction. You're handing the person the cash, they're handing you the gift. We hear every year about how, Craigslist is great, but it is also dangerous. What are some safe tips seniors can employ to stay safe in those transactions?
Yeah, so you're talking about Craigslist, you're talking about Let Go and Facebook Marketplace. These are items that you might purchase locally from someone. This can be dangerous. It can be a great bargain, but it can also be dangerous. We have at the Pensacola Police Department a safe space. It's right inside the police department. So if you're going to purchase something from somebody, ask them to meet you at the Pensacola Police Department to exchange the item for the money.
Okay.
That way you're doing it in our lobby to where it's supervised, and there won't be any issues there. But don't ever go to someone's home.
Yeah.
Don't meet them in a parking lot someplace, because that could cause some problems.
And that's interesting, because I imagine people do say, meet me in the Walmart parking lot, because they assume that, there's a lot of people in that parking lot, it's safe, but that's not necessarily true.
No, that's not true.
Okay.
A lot of times they'll say, they'll call you on the way, okay, I'm on the parking lot, but I'm out toward the road, away from the cameras and away from a lot of people and away from cars, and then you're already on your way. So make those arrangements to where you can go, a place such as the police department,
Sure.
Maybe a fire department, someplace where you can be supervised.
Yeah, that's a great idea. A lot of seniors are heading out of town for the holidays, maybe for weeks on end. How can they make sure that their home is safe while they're gone?
If they live in the city of Pensacola, they can call the Pensacola Police Department at 435-1901 and get put on a watch order list on their home. So if the officers have, when they have time, once every 24 hours, they will go to that home, they will walk around it, make sure everything looks okay, and if something's out of place, we will contact that person.
Okay, so you literally just call the PPD up and put that order in.
Yeah, let them know where you live, an emergency contact number, when you're leaving and when you're going to be back, and real important if there's dogs in the house or in the backyard, because the officer will walk around the house. We need to know if there's any dogs in the backyard or in the home, or if there's going to be somebody that's going to check on the home, we need to know that person too, so there's no mistakes made.
Excellent. Well, Mike, thank you so much for coming on today.
It's my
Extremely
pleasure.
timely information. Volunteering is a great, fun way to give back, especially during the holidays. Find out more next.
Since 1989, TLC Caregivers has been providing the special help people need to stay independent in their own homes. TLC is an employer of choice in the home care market. Our employees are screened with level 2 background screens, drug-free, and have caregiving experience. If you have time, enjoy people, and are interested in joining us, go to tlccaregivers.com to learn more about becoming a TLC caregiver, or visit us in Cordova Square.
When cancer tries to take you away from the things that matter most, Baptist Cancer Institute offers caring physicians and the most innovative treatment options. With convenient locations and a wide array of support programs and services, we're here to help you during the most difficult of times. As a member of the Mayo Clinic Care Network, we're bringing even more innovative cancer care to our community right here at home. When you need cancer care, we'll be there.
Volunteering has been proven to improve our physical and emotional health, as well as our connections with and empathy toward others. Council on Aging offers a range of volunteer opportunities that match your current interest, whether that's meeting with others, playing games, attending events, or working with your hands. Let's talk now to volunteer Kelly Robinson about her experience. Kelly, thank you so much for coming on today.
Hi, thanks.
Tell me about your volunteer experience at Council on Aging.
Well, I volunteer with the Meals on Wheels program. So Tuesday mornings, I go out and I get to visit and have fun and deliver food.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So how did you first hear about the agency, and what interested you in volunteering?
I was looking for something a little extra, something a little more to do in my daytime. And then honestly, I saw the national campaign on TV.
Okay, fair enough.
So I saw that and I was like, oh, that's, I'd like to give that a shot. I tend to gravitate myself personally towards senior citizens and children.
So the opposite ends of the spectrum there.
Very much so.
Okay.
And, seniors are very much our lost generation at this point.
Yes.
We're so busy in ourselves and on social media situations, but we're not having that one-on-one connection.
Yeah.
And they just need visitors,
Absolutely.
honestly, at the end of the day. So I was happy to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I've been on the Meals on Wheels routes before, and oftentimes I feel like it's not even about the food. It's about walking through the door. They're so happy to see you, just for a few minutes to have someone to talk to. It's a great experience. What do you love about volunteering?
Volunteering? Well, in general, I like to do service work.
Okay.
I really enjoy it. I find it feeds me as a person.
Sure.
And then I've been on the receiving end of people giving me compassion, and so I like to always pay that forward a little bit, and whether that's through animals, children, seniors, art, whatever.
Yeah.
I just try to find something that fits with me and helps me help others.
Animals, children, and seniors. That's the
my
holy
theory.
trinity right
That
there.
is my theory.
What is it about seniors that you like to help them?
Stories.
Yeah, tell me about that.
Really, I love to just sit and listen to stories. So on a typical route for me, I have about 8 clients that I go.
Okay.
And I spend at least 5 to 10 minutes with each of them, and then I have a couple that I spend 30 to 40 minutes.
Really? Good for you.
They just want to sit and talk and hang out, and oftentimes they have a cat.
Yes.
Or a dog.
Right.
To keep them company
right.
as well.
So that's the animal piece that comes in
that helps
right
with
there.
the animal piece, and the animals they sit and watch for me. It's really cute. And then when they hear my truck come in, they run to the door and they're waiting for me.
That's sweet.
But they just want to share their stories and have a visitor, and because people get busy.
Definitely. And, it's because people are so busy and, we're all so hectic that some people are hesitant to volunteer, right? Some people are reluctant to take a chunk out of their week or out of their month to do that. What do you say to people in those situations?
Don't worry about it.
Yeah?
Honestly, go do it. I was out of town this Thanksgiving week for the whole week, and, I just asked, hey, can someone cover my route that's staying local? They do. And then if there's ever someone that needs to cover, I always jump forward.
Yeah. I mean, it's flexible, right?
Very much so. Yeah, it's very flexible. And you can oftentimes, depending on where you're volunteering, you can choose the time of day. So morning, afternoon, evening. And they really work with you because they're just happy to have the help.
Yeah, definitely. Talk about the impact that volunteering has had on you personally, and maybe not necessarily just Council on Aging, but just volunteering in general.
I love it.
Yeah?
I love it. I need it. My soul needs it personally. And I'm thrilled to provide it. I look forward to every Tuesday morning when I work with Council on Aging.
Yeah.
I used to do work with Boys and Girls Club of the Emerald Coast. And I looked forward to driving all the way out to Fort Walton, all the way out to Crestview.
Really? You looked forward to that?
Pensacola.
Okay.
I did. I need it in my life personally. I need to be in service to other people. I need to give to the community, and I love Pensacola so much, and I'm just happy to do it.
Yeah. So, like I said, some people are reluctant to do it. Some people might even be a little intimidated. It's like starting a job, right? It's it can be intimidating. You don't know the ropes. Take us through your first day volunteering with Meals on Wheels.
My first day, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I was with Miss Linda. She's our coordinator, and she's there every time that we're picking up our meals and doing it. She's there. She's giving us our sheets. She's letting you know what to do. If someone's new, someone's unfortunately in the hospital or out of town visiting their family. She just really kept you through. So I rode with her, and I packed up my juice and my milk, and she let me know cooler bags were probably better than a hard shell cooler. And, just stuff like that. She introduces you to the client and let them know that you're the one that'll be coming to visit them and to be on the lookout for you, which is very important that they kind of know who's coming. And it just was riding around Pensacola, meeting new folks, and I liked it. Good. I liked it right off the bat, and I'm been there for about just over 2 years
Has
now.
it been that? Okay, so it's been
really
over 2 years.
yeah,
okay, so you stuck with us. You didn't leave us high and dry.
With it.
Okay, that's good. Has the experience changed at all for you over the 2 years? Have you learned anything? Have you had any like eye-opening experiences?
I had one just yesterday.
Okay.
Actually, it was a new client, and it went, and this client has dementia.
Sure.
And the wife is the caretaker, which is often the situation, is the spouse is the caretaker. And I walked in. I've never met this woman before in my life. And I walked in, and she just took one look at me and just burst into tears. And I was just like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. And I put my stuff down in the kitchen, and I gave her a hug. And I was like, is there anything I can help you with? And she just was so happy to see me helping her.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, they do so often feel forgotten or left behind by society, that just being reminded that someone still cares, even if it's only for a couple minutes a day, is huge.
And I ended up staying for about 15 minutes at the house.
Did they have a dog or a cat?
No.
Oh, okay. So you stayed just for them. Okay, there was no animal there.
No animals there. No children. Just them.
Excellent.
And they're lovely people. So I got, to take a few moments to get to know the wife and the husband, and then they got to know me for a minute. So now next week when I go back, we'll be on a little bit more familiar footing, and we'll just build from there. It's just like any other relationship.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for volunteering, Kelly, and thank you for coming on and sharing your experience.
Yeah, thank you.
I appreciate it. And thank you for watching. Until next time, enjoy life. You've earned it.
This is the story of a boy who didn't talk for a long time. The boy liked things to always be the same. Any changes would scare and upset him. The unknown was an unfriendly place. The boy was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. He wasn't trying to be mean, it just made him feel uncomfortable. Sometimes he would flap his arms again and again.
One day I found out I have something called autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I found my voice and learned all the ways I could live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.